Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who are teaching this truth. And shout out to Yakians out there on the four quarters of the earth, proclaim Bracha the Yahweh, Bracha the Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash, Brakatam. And so I just want to continue to expand on a lesson that was just brought out this morning by Apostle Aramla and the fact that well, we're here in the present. Armageddon means mountain of troops. Esau shall gather his mountain of troops to battle against the Most High. And what's that talking about? You know, going into further of this, that's that space force that Donald J. Trump and others had, you know, that they're not just talking about a military force on the ground, but in the heavens. Thus, Revelation 12, the war in heaven, when they shall fight the dragon. Michael and the angels, you know, this is that war in heaven that's being conjured up. So Esau's gathering his mountain troops, but the war starts in Syria, which is where that river Euphrates is. Thus, right there on the border of the Idlib province. But here's what's happening in between before the finalization of Damascus being taken from being a city becoming a ruinous heap. What's happening, though, is Donald J. Trump is playing the part in the fall of Babylon the Great, thus, you know, raising tariffs against his allies. And that's causing these nations to begin to hate the whore, to hate America. And so we're going to see that. But then these rest of the nations, as we're seeing it build up, are going to go with Russia, the BRICS nations. Brexit, which is England, they come up with their own system because they no longer wanted to be a part of that. So there's the Brexit system as well as the BRICS nations. And so they want global currency. They want global trade without the whore, without America, the one world currency. So pretty much what they're going to do is they're going to be making more and more side deals with Russia. And eventually they're not going to support United States or Israel into going into Syria anymore. They're going to back away from the whore. And ultimately, when America does attack Damascus, does take it away from being a Syria, whether it be Amalek or it be America indirectly, thus causing a reaction. I believe that's what the fulfillment does, especially when you read it. In Jeremiah 49 in particularly, it talks about the men of war being cut off in that day. So, well, what's going to cut off the men of war in that day? That's when the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Shai, Michael and the angels come down, and thus they fight each other first, and then they fight against the Most High. But in that same hour, when Babylon the Great, America is taken. I believe it's not long after Damascus is taken. It just happens to be that way because it's the one place that they can't get because, of course, Russia has put a blockade. If America could just go in there like they did with Iraq, they would have already done it. They've attempted to do this many times, but now, you know, Gomer is in there as well as Magog, being now guard unto them. And even Gomer is now getting that shield, getting the S-400 systems. And now Assad has even more S-300 systems as a result of the down in the IL-20 plane. But nonetheless, though, what's going to happen is the mark of the beast is about to be rolled out. They're going to use the perfect crisis to do that. Maybe another false terrorist attack in America, or use weather warfare, whatever their motive is, to bring out that ship. Because we can see what's happening in Venezuela, that it's now only electronic payments for the gas, which America's about to roll out that same thing, thus making cash useless. And of course, you know, these tariffs are just the beginning of it, and we're seeing that. We're seeing these nations hate the whore because of Donald J. Trump, who is basically the spokesman for the Rothschilds. So I'm going to read out of Revelation 17. Then one of the seven angels who had the seven bowls came up and said to me, "Come, I will show you the judgment of the great whore who is seated on many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, that is, brought unto all the philosophies of America, Babylon the Great. and committed fornication with the wine of whose fornications of the inhabitants of the earth have become drunk. That is, following into America's footsteps, pretty much adapting all the philosophies, and but most of all, encouraging their wickedness, pretty much allowing homosexuals to run wild. So he carried me away in the spirit into a wilderness, and I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast that was full of blasphemous names, which, you can call it Caesar Borgia, you could call it, Jesus Christos, which is talking about really this place, pretty much all kinds of blasphemous things, because, Christianity was brought out in America. And, of course, the false prophet, another nickname for the Roman Catholic Church, pretty much this place, Babylon the Great, has so-called sent missionaries all over the world, spreading that lies and fornication. The woman was clothed in purple and scarlet and adorned with golden jewels. Yes, America, claims to have all these delicacies. If you partner with us, we'll give you protection. And, you find out that's all lies later. And pearls, holding in her hand a golden cup full of abominations and the impurities of her fornication. Yeah, because America pushes homosexuality and everything else. And the only one that's going to be left with America, of course, is where it originated, Amalek. So these Amalekites, and it's our job to eradicate Amalek. And on her forehead was written a name, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and the abominations of the earth. And I saw the woman drunk with the blood of the saints who had the witness of Yahushua. So it was drunk with the bloods of the saints. Who are the saints? The Israelites, which are all 12 tribes, not just Judah, but all of them. We've been oppressed together in this place, Babylon the Great. When I saw her, I was greatly amazed. But the angel said unto me, Where are you amazed? I will tell you the mystery of the woman and of the beast and the 7 heads and 10 horns that carrieth her, which is talking about the EU, the UN, NATO, that carries her, but what's happening now is even France is called for the removal of Babylon the Great, America. Hey, Khan, Shalom. And they don't want America to be leading that anymore. The beast that you saw was not, and is about to ascend from the bottomless pit. Talk about when these Edomites came back into power, and to go to destruction, and the inhabitants of the earth, whose names have not been written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, will be amazed when they see the beast, because it was and is not and is to come. Thus, this is about all, pretty much those that, were scorners, mockers, and just they're just going to be amazed, because they're just like, wow, I can't believe it, Wow, especially when this place gets destroyed. This calls for a mind that hath wisdom. The 7 heads and 7 mountains on which the woman is seated. Also there are 7 kings, of whom 5 have fallen, and 1 is living, and the other is not yet come. And when he comes, he must remain only a little while. And we're in that little while now, and that is talking about the second leg of the Roman Empire. As for the beast that was, it is not, it is in the 8th, but it comes from the 7th and goes into destruction. That's when the Roman Empire, fell into destruction, 1,000 years, and then when they came back. And the 10 horns that thou saw are 10 kings who have not received a kingdom, but they are about to receive authority as kings for 1 hour together with the beast. So what's that talking about? That's when they will destroy America, Babylon the Great. And this hour, in the same hour when Babylon the Great is destroyed, they're also going to come against the Most High, but they will lose. They are unified in yielding their power and authority to the beast. They will make war with the Lamb. It's talking about Yahushua, Michael and the angels, this war in heaven. And the Lamb will conquer them, for he is the Lord of lords and King of kings. For those with him are called, chosen, and faithful. Well, who are those with them? That is thus the elect that were called out of the destruction of Babylon the Great and are with them. And he said unto me, the waters that you saw where the whore is seated are peoples and multitudes and nations and languages. And thus, you could even link this to New York, which once was the capital of America before they made it Washington, D.C., and yet that's where the UN building is, where the kings of the earth meet. And the 10 horns that thou saw, the beast shall hate the whore, and they will make her desolate and naked, and will devour her flesh and burn her with fire. That's talking about when they shall send their 200 million nuclear missiles all together with Russia. And I believe that the fall of Damascus is leading to this part, but everything that's leading up to this, it's just that when America makes that attack on Damascus, all these other countries will already be trading with China and Russia. And so they will be confederate together against Edom, just like they were all confederate to put us into slavery. All these nations will be confederate with Magog and to make war with the whore, Babylon the Great. For Yahweh has put it in their hearts to carry out the purpose by agreeing to give their kingdom to the beast until the words of Yahweh will be fulfilled. Thus, he's going to put it in them to fight against him. Because if they were to act on their own accord, anybody who has a mind, man, fuck this, man, I ain't going to fight that. You kidding, man? It's useless to fight that, right? But now he's going to put in their hearts to say, yes, we will conquer, we will rebuild, all the rhetoric that they always spew out every time they get defeated. That's what they're going to do in the same hour. The woman you saw is the great city that rule over the kings of the earth, which is talking about America, Babylon the Great. So that's just expanding on what Apostle Aramla had spoken on this morning, Revelation 16. I love it when the apostles teach because you don't get better milk than from the apostles, and I'm really glad of the translation of Armageddon, which means mountain truce, which makes sense because, that's talking about that space force that's going to try to fight against the Most High, Yahweh Shai. And we'll be up there with them at that time, as long as we know that we're a part of that elect. Hopefully we are. So for all that, I just want to say, Barakah Yahweh, Barakah Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakal Kadash, Rakatam. I hope this has been edifying.